Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk, in the house. A new segment I kind of want to introduce, and I thought about it today in light of what happened last night with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. Damar Hamlin, for those who don't know, suffered a critical injury, which he's suffered a cardiac arrest and was brought back to life by medical personnel during that game. And instead of talking about things that happened during this last weekend, with teams and players and updates. I really wanted to touch base on this just because of how important and critical it is. This young man is fighting for his life right now. 24 years old, sixth round draft pick from University of Pittsburgh. What seemed to be a routine play, he made a tackle. T. Higgins, they collided. He popped up, and immediately he he passed out. He collapsed instantly. He was on the ground for several minutes. Medical personnel had to provide CPR and also use a AED slash defibrillator in order to get his heart pumping again. So for some moments there, his heart was not beating anymore. And as I was watching this unfold, something that I've never seen on an NFL stage, yet alone high school. I've coached youth football for several years. I've never seen anything like that. The first things that came to my mind were, his family. His mom was in attendance. The Buffalo Bills team, the organization, even the Cincinnati Bengals, the players, the fans, what they're witnessing. Because at that point, no one knew what was going on. How many times have we seen, a guy tear an ACL, blow out a knee, some type of back injury, something to that nature, right? But in this case, this was way more severe, anything that we can imagine. And as this young man laid lifeless, literally on the ground for several minutes, he was, ushered off in an ambulance, taken to the University of Cincinnati Level One Trauma Center, which right now we know that he did have a pulse. He does have a pulse now, and has been sedated, and they're watching him, very closely as they should. And then I started thinking about football, right? Because honestly, life in this case is way more important than the game of football. And that's exactly what it is, a game. I love the sport. I've played it. I coach it. Shoot, I have a show dedicated to football. And what I witnessed last night, it really hit home. Back in 2002, my senior year in high school, something similar happened to me. I made a routine play, got up, the tackle, got up, and immediately collapsed. All I remember was being put into an ambulance and waking up in the hospital. Now, it wasn't as severe as Damar Hamlin's situation. I did suffer a severe concussion that put me out for some time. But I can definitely sympathize with what this young man is going through. When you collapse like that, or you suffer something so severe that it traumatizes you. Um, and right now, the game of football is meaningless at this point. Kudos to the NFL for not allowing this game to be played. I know Roger Goodell came out today and issued a statement saying that this game will not be rescheduled. No decision has been made on the outcome. My guess is that both teams should probably agree to take a draw and move on. How this affects the playoff, at this point, it doesn't even matter. The safety and health of Mark Hamlin is priority number one. So I will give props to the National Football League for that, especially in years past that it seems as though the NFL doesn't really care about the health and safety about their players, which is rightfully so, right? You're adding an extra week. Now they've reduced preseason games, but really, what does that even matter? If you really care about safety, there's some things that they probably can also improve on. But overall, if you can really be realistic about things, the game of football has the safety of it has increased. I heard a really good analogy today. You know, football is like a cigarette. You can't make it any safer than what it already is, man. It's not safe to begin with. And anyone that plays the game of football or any type of combat sport, you know what you're getting yourself into. And I'm not saying Damar Hamlin is liable for what happened. This young man is just trying to provide himself a life that he worked hard for. And nothing like this should happen to anybody. But in the reality of things, this is what football can do, or any combat sport. So, as a parent or anyone who's watching this video, if you're a parent, you start to wonder, is this something that you want your sons to play? Now, I think football will never go away. This is America's pastime. By far, it's the most watched sport in this country. We talk about it. Like I said before, we dedicate shows to this thing. But now moving forward, is it something that we want to invest our sons getting on the field and risking their lives when it's already a dangerous sport? I don't know yet. I don't know. Obviously, it would have to be a decision made between myself and my child and other parental units involved. But at this point, I don't know. I don't know. This could have happened to anybody. Anything can happen any day of the week. But definitely, it's something to consider moving forward. But all we can do right now is pray and think about Damar Hamlin and his family, the players on the Buffalo Bills, and what a scene it was. In the midst of all of that, not chaos, but uncertainty, the city of Cincinnati, the citizens of Ohio, the way they showed up and showed out, heading over to the hospital, holding a vigil, making several donations to this man's charity, right? Over $4 million from what I saw recently. So, in a world that's full of tumultuous scrutiny and sometimes just insanity, it's good to see that there is some humanity left out there. And one thing that we've learned this week, or at least last night, is that there are still good people in this world and they're willing to help. And kudos to the medical staff on both sides of the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals. So there's a lot to digest from this. Hopefully moving forward, this segment won't be as ominous as it was today. And we can get back to talking about football and strategy and players and what team's going to win the Super Bowl. But today, none of that means anything. I don't care who's the number one seed, who's the last seed, who's the MVP, who should be the quarterback for this team. None of that even matters to me at this point. So until next time, everyone, we'll catch you guys on the next What We Learned episode. But until then, this is Clutch Sports Talk with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. God bless. Peace out.